Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us. And remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Welcome back. Happy Monday. I got my hand can breathe again. It's nice I can move my hand a little bit more. I got the whatever you call it off. The very thick bandage. So, but at least that part of my hand stayed clean for 2 weeks. It was a little bit better now that it's out of it and I can do a little bit more stretching. My middle finger is still pretty swollen, but so it's going to take time. All right. I was hoping we'd have somebody here by now. I have a package to open, and I know people like to be around it. Yeah. So it's from Monty, man. I bet he's already sent me a few things. I should start giving him wine. Well, not all of them. He gave me this coffee cup right here. He gave me some, bracelets. Says the lie is dead. We do recover. I think that's some cool stuff. Hi, Amber. Amber says, I am pissed today. Scott and I should do some step work and decompress and accept that people suck ass. I'm sorry. That stinks. So we're going to open this package and let's see what we got. I bet it's another cup at least because he got new cups. Ow. Ow. Probably shouldn't be using that hand, but I don't know how to do this left-handed. All right. Let's see if that's enough. No. Arg, mateys. Arg. Okay. Tear that open. All right. Let's see what we got here. And I know he got new coffee cups in, and I kind of been, whining for one. Look at that. Yep, it's a new coffee cup. I like these ones too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drink out of this one, and the other one I will keep as a present. All right, so we got a new coffee cup. I like the red on the inside. Yeah, new coffee cup. See if we threw anything else in here. He's kind of like that. Some more bracelets. And is this a letter? Or is it the packaging details? Oh, and a bunch of stickers. All right. Yay, stickers. Stickers. All right. Says, greeting, my friends. Enclosed are some of the lie is dead. We do recover bracelets and your new Take 12 coffee radio mug. A few waterproof stickers and a few of our business cards. By displaying the stickers in a prominent place, such as your rear window of the car, you will help attract others to the world's oldest recovery podcast. All right. Thank you, Monty. And my cat's got something out of it, too. A box, which I will put on the floor for them. Kittens, new box. New box, kittens. It's a great day in the Miller household. Of course, more bubble wrap. Bubble wrap, bubble wrap, bubble wrap. All right. It's not why you're here today, though. Oh, look at this. It's a full on. Oh, I can make a hand puppet out of this one. I am Bubbles. Yeah, see? All right, got another hand puppet here called Bubbles. Bubbles. All right, enough screwing around. Let's get serious. Let's get serious here, man. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. Dion, host, most stuff. All right. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. So, hey, I didn't know you were participating in Isaac's School Spirit Week. Oh, am I? How did that work out? What'd I do? So I go to the doctor, all right, and they take this off, and I asked, they gave me a script, non-narcotic script, right? But on there, it also listed, they also ordered Narcan for me, which is, hey, which is just kind of funny. I'm not having an opioid overdose. Here's some Narcan right here in my hand. I keep Narcan. I don't know why I keep it at home. That's not, I keep it in my car. I keep some in my car. I should probably put this one in my wife's car. So that way, if we can have somebody that's having an overdose, right? And they're like, take it right away. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be shooting any Narcan up my nose for no reason. I don't know why that. It's just kind of funny. I think it is. I find it a little ironic. Anyway, multiple pathways to recover. What are the multiple pathways to recovery? You see people all over the place, all over. And when you have 50 million different ways, boy, can it get confusing pretty darn quick. There's some indicators, though. So we're going to kind of cover it. We're going to talk about pop-up programs a little bit. And these are the programs that all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, somebody has this new fangled and they call it something weird. They got, man, all these different freaking names we're putting on everything. It's out of control. All right. I mean, it doesn't take long for somebody to go on to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will make you a program in minutes. The thing is ChatGPT doesn't know what it's doing without direction. ChatGPT often gives me the wrong answer. Right? So it's a tool. It is a tool. All right. I would never write a program. Now I might write the program out, and then put it in ChatGPT to straighten it out a bit, make it sound a little bit better. But that's going to be about the extent of it, right? So if we go to what I did is I went to Google and I just put in multiple pathways to recovery meaning, right? What does it mean? So multiple pathways to recovery means that there is no single one-size-fits-all solution for overcoming addiction or mental health challenges. All right. I agree with that. There is no one-size-fits-all. No, AA is not one-size-fits-all. None of these programs are. But that doesn't mean we make stuff up. That isn't what that means. Okay. Are there multiple pathways to recovery? Sure there are. But that is going to be based more on your experience than it is actually the program. It is your experience that makes it a little different, a little unique, right? Because your experiences might be different than mine. but we're going to be working the same program. We have found a way that works. Yeah, and I know, because I'm a recovered alcoholic, and I hang out with a lot of recovered alcoholics. I do. All right. So if I go to Google here and it says that, now that was put out by Heron Wellness. So individual journeys, recognizing that what works for one person may not work for another. Now we're getting outside of our realm. Because here's the thing, when it comes to alcoholism and addiction, I'm going to stick with alcoholism because I'm not a drug addict, and maybe it's a little different. So, but if it's the same, awesome. Then that makes it even better. Okay. If you don't know what it's like to be an alcoholic, I'm going to ask you to shut the fuck up. I am. Okay, it's enough. Now we have beyond that, we have a bunch of alcoholics running around trying to figure out the easier, softer way, and now they're promoting it to you for likes, loves, and money. Money. Money, money, money. Money. Right. There's a reason why it is the way that it is. Now we've already done thousands of years of research, and we think that because we have a new few tools that we're going to find out some other answer. No, we're not. There is no answer. We already have it. I'm sorry that it doesn't appease you. I'm sorry that you're going to have to do work. No, I'm not really sorry. Hey, what else is to say about this? I don't have to roll like that. Okay. All right. Diverse options. Here we go with these people just love to, they love their PC words. All right. You ever hang out with alcoholics and addicts? They're not really PC, are they? No, they're not. Right. Now, I don't disagree with this. Okay. Pathways can include SAMHSA's recognized methods. Now, let me tell you something about SAMHSA. They're not doing anything that helps us out right now. No. No. So I don't trust SAMHSA at the moment. I don't. They used to be a great program, but it used to be run a lot differently. All right. Because they're taking God out. They're literally taking God out. See, SAMHSA has become codependent. All right. And it doesn't work. Anyway, so recognizing methods like clinical care, therapy, peer support, faith-based initiatives. I'm surprised that they put faith, but are they saying AA, No, they're putting in smart recovery. Why are they putting in smart recovery? Right? And their linker recovery resources, understanding 6 unique recovery pathways. Okay, now let me ask you this. Now, if it's not a one size fits all, and we're doing what we can to create all these different pathways, then how come there are 6 unique recovery pathways now? See, even that in and of itself, 6 unique recovery pathways. See, they're throwing a verb in there to fuck with your brain. They do this all the time. Rock bottom. Who came out with that? SAMHSA. They are not here to help. The only thing SAMHSA has done in the last 20 years is change it from alcoholism to alcohol use disorder. It is the only thing that is done. See, the job is done, but they want to continue working on it. I even today when I went to Kaiser, in the elevator, they had an ad out where if you were on opiates, that, well, gosh, they would love to research you and they're going to pay you for it. That is disgusting. You're going to go there, you're going to give them opiates, and then you're going to give them enough money to make sure that they can buy those opiates. What if they go out and they OD on fentanyl? It is unthinking. It really is. Do you think the government gives a fuck about your addiction. Do you really think that? Because I don't. Not at the moment. And within the next 6 to 9 months, the sober livings, you guys better get your shit together, man. You better get your shit together now because they're coming. They are coming. And yes, thank you. Thank God. Right? Thank God. Enough of the abuse. All right. So what else do they say it is? It's a non-linear progress. I would agree with that. Absolutely. Because what happened to me in my life may happen to you, but maybe it happens in a different order. So if it's non-linear, who do you think I'm going to bring up when it's non-linear? God. All right. If we take this back to the big book, right? If we take it back to the big book, and if these people think that they knew more than Dr. Silkworth, then they are fucking full of themselves because they're not, right? They're not. So what did the good doctor have to say about this? Because I've forgotten what it is that I was looking up. It'll come back to me. Yeah, it'll come back to me because I don't quite remember what I was saying. Oh, that's what it was. There it was, right here. Many men have cried out to me in sincere and despairing appeal, Doctor, I cannot go on like this. I have everything to live for. I must stop, but I cannot. You must help me. Faced with this problem, if a doctor is honest with himself, he must sometimes feel his own inadequacy. One feels that something more than a human power is needed to produce the essential psychic change. Though the aggregate of recoveries, in this case, that means sum total. So out of all the people that they have helped clinically, right, of recoveries resulting from psychiatric effort is considerable, we physicians must admit we have made little impression upon the problem as whole. Many do not respond to the ordinary psychological approach, right? Then it goes on to talk about that they could not apply the powers of good needed to get somebody sober. That it's a scientific approach. And we don't need a scientific approach to alcoholism because the problem is a spiritual malady. And there's no pill for that. All right. Alcoholism doesn't necessarily mean you're drinking alcohol. Right? So, understanding that recovery may involve challenges, setbacks, and changes in approach over time. Yes. All right. Empowerment, encouraging self-determination. Let me ask you something. How well did your self-determination keep you sober? I mean, we literally talk about it in the big book that it didn't work. In Bill's story, he literally says it. So self-reliance is now, and your own determination is what's going to do it now. See, we're off. We're already off here, right? So encouraging self-determination, allowing individuals to choose a path that resonates with them. See, here we are using words again. Does that resonate with you? Okay. You know what that is? That's codependency. That's appeasement. That's appeasement. Quit giving the alcoholics what they want all the time, man. Hey. So next, we're going to check out what CCAR has to say about it. CCAR is the largest recovery coach trainer in the United States. Let's see what they have to say about it. They say There are multiple pathways of addiction recovery, and all are cause for celebration. I'd go with that. Yeah. So, what do you have? Well, you have your 12 step based ones. Got that. Cool. And it's their first one. Thank you, CCAR. Good job. Non-secular, so non-religious. You got Life Ring, Smart Recovery. Then you have your spiritual religious, right? They have Recovery Dharma, Refugi, Recovery, Alcoholics for Christ, Pioneer Associate. I don't know a lot of these, so I can't. Medicated assisted treatment. Now, I'm going to let you know, I'm not going to talk on that because I've never had to take methadone. And so or Suboxone or any of that. Now, if the way I see it is, if it is helping somebody to live a better life, I'm kind of for it. Hi, Isaac. Poop. That was just for Isaac. Sorry, guys. All right. So already we're starting to discover a few things, right? So I'm not going to cover medicated assisted treatment because I don't feel like I know enough. Wellness-based recovery consists of practices such as yoga, meditation, Tai Chi, etc. Yeah, now we're pushing it. Active sober community, online recovery sports. So really, there is, do you hear, them saying, oh, all these places that are popping up, is it like refugee recovery? I'm gonna have to check it out. In fact, we're gonna go check it out right now, is what we're gonna do. All right. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to share this screen so that you too can see what it is that I'm looking at, right? So we're looking at refugee recovery here. Resources, meaning hospital pamphlet policy. Tax filings. Why would we need a tax filing? Okay. Donate. Fair enough. About the first truth of recovery. Now, if we have to do the first truth, I bet they have 12 truths to recovery. Buddhism. So these guys are Buddhists. Now, here's the thing. Okay, and that's great. I think it's awesome. Good for them. Buddha's not religious. It's not. Buddha's not religious, but CCAR is listing them as. So the fourth truth. They have the four truths, it looks like. Addiction creates suffering. Agreed. Second truth. The cause of addiction is repetitive craving. Not true. Third truth, recovery is possible. I would agree with that. Fourth truth, the path to recovery is available. That doesn't really give you anything. And they have an eightfold path: understanding, intention, speech, community. So, yeah, they got some things going on here. But really, I'll tell you what this is. This is a group of people trying to make money. That's what that is. So if you're all right with that, cool. All right. So we're gonna switch gears here a little bit. All right. So the internet says that there are thousands of pathways to recovery, but let's talk about what actually works. Not every pathway is equal. Not everything online is healed. In fact, I would say none of it is. Not everything labeled recovery produces recovery. Just because it's called recovery doesn't mean it leads to the freedom that you need. Okay? I too meet people where they are at. I do that too. Right? Do I always send them to AA? No, not always. Sometimes it's not the right fit. Maybe they had some trauma or something that happened. Maybe it's not a right fit. We've got other options. It's all right. Personally, I prefer AA because I like the structure. I like the fact that it is structured. This is what we do at this time. Then we read this, then we read that. You raise your hands. Yeah, I like that part. Okay, I enjoy that. Celebrate recovery is more open-ended, right? Where there's cross-talking and you don't really raise your hand and there's no time limits, things like that. You talk about what's going on with your day. Another great program. That's a different style. We just got done reading about around refugee recovery. Seems like they're legit. Okay. But when we're going through Instagram and people are renaming everything, especially, okay, especially if you're putting if you're putting out an ad, let's remember that's money. But if let's say your post starts out with, you don't need AA. You can get sober in 90 days. You don't need to sit in you don't need to sit in AA. Well, if it didn't work for you, why are you bringing it up? Because you're trying to compare it. I hear what you're saying. AA didn't work for you. You weren't willing to do the work. I hear you. And I understand it too. It's hard work. Yeah. So if somebody needs to cut down another place, and or especially in recovery, in order to promote their own stuff, they're already on the wrong track. All right. When you were in sales, you do not put down the competition ever. You don't do that. So they're putting down the competition. Now we have two problems. Number one, there is no competition in recovery. And I see it all the time, even in AA. Well, we get like 80 to 100 people in our room. So the way I see it is you got like 50 too many people in there. How's anybody getting what they need? A good AA meeting is about 20 to 30 people. That's usually the best scenario for everybody, because then everybody gets a chance to share if they need to. But there's enough people there for other people to feel comfortable to stay. You ever opened up a Zoom room and somebody you don't know comes in, they leave 2 minutes early because there's nobody else there. They get all weird. Happens all the time. And I get it. I get it. I do. So, all right. So a real pathway, number one, produces long-term sobriety. It encourages accountability. It promotes personal responsibility. It requires action. It leads to transformation, and it builds community. If it doesn't produce change, it's not a pathway. Now, are we on a pathway, or are we, because I don't see this as a pathway. What I see is a broad highway where all of us get to walk along. If I'm on a pathway, that means people are behind me or in front of me. You can't walk two people abreast, right? You only do one. So is it a broad highway or is it a pathway? See how even these little things and the way that we say them can really matter to someone else, right? Yeah. So what do we have? Well, we have the 12 step and faith based, right? So structured steps, clear accountability, sponsorship, spiritual growth, service. Okay. And the reality is this: it is proven to have long-term results. We have a global fellowship and a very deep transformation. Okay, now this is just AA, 12-step group. So that would include NA and OA and all your other A's, right? It's proven. 90 years of proof. 90 years. Okay, but here's the thing. It requires some things, and not everybody is willing to meet these requirements. What are they? It requires humility. It's going to require surrender. And of course, it's going to require work. It works if you work it. We say it at the end of the meeting all the time. Keep coming back. It works if you work it and you're worth it. And all of that is true. Right? All of that is true. Right? Then we have faith-based recovery. There's a lot of faith-based recovery out there. Celebrate Recovery seems to be the one that works really well. You probably figured out I'm big on Celebrate Recovery. I think it's a great program. You know, it's based off of the 12 steps. They use the 12-step traditions too. Yes, they do. They use the 12 steps, but they are Christian, very Christian based. So if you go to Celebrate Recovery, you're going to be hearing a lot of praise in Jesus. Okay. What do they offer? A clear spiritual foundation. Okay. It is biblical and faith-centered structure with community accountability. So, and that works really well for people. Now, it says here works well for those aligned spiritually, but I don't know. No. That's not what I mean. Maybe religious. Maybe you grew up, maybe you go to church every Sunday and you want to keep doing that. Go for it, man. But it also requires willingness, not just belief. Now, where's my phone? Where's my phone? There it is. We're going to find out when Celebrate Recovery started here. Because I want to make sure that they have some time under. When did Celebrate Recovery start? 1991.
Celebrate Recovery.
So they've got some time under their belt. Again, a proven system. Yay. Another proven system. Good job, Celebrate Recovery. Right? So faith without action doesn't produce sobriety. Now, we're going to move more into the clinical aspect. Okay? When did Smart Recovery open? 1994. So again, been around for a little while with some proven results. Good stuff. I was glad to hear that because I was thinking it was a lot. It wasn't that much time. So I was glad to hear that it was more time than I thought, right? So now we have the clinical and therapeutic pathways. These do also work. Counseling, trauma therapy, inpatient, outpatient. It has Medicaid assisted treatment. Again, I'm not going to, right? So here it says can stabilize people. Well, stabilization just means that your blood pressure isn't through the roof and you're not shaking anymore. That's stabilization. Blowing zeros is stabilization. That doesn't provide anything. Can address underlying trauma. Yes. Often works best when paired with community. Okay? They're being nice. It says often works best, because they want you to feel good about it. Now, truth is this. You need both. I don't care who you are. All right. All right. So therapy can open wounds, but it's community that helps them. There's not any more to that. There's no more. Do you want to know what kind of therapy works best when it comes to addiction? Cognitive behavioral therapy. Let's prove it. What type of therapy works best with addiction?
Help is available by calling 988 Suicide
Shut
and
up.
Crisis Lifeline.
That's not what I
at
asked.
988. That number again is 988.
It's all here. Cognitive behavioral therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy. Yep, there it is. AA is cognitive behavioral therapy. Right? I'm pretty sure Celebrate Recovery and Smart Recovery are too. Looks like refugee. I know I keep calling it refugi. I don't know where I got that from. So peer-led and community models. Now we're going to have to be careful on this one, right? Because right now, I mean, our sober living's working. If they're doing it right, yes, because it's about community. It's about seeing other people doing what you're doing. It's about building relationships, learning how to live with other people, all these things. accountability. Okay? So yes, they can work. Now, do most of them run correctly in Colorado? No. 90% of them, no. They're all about making money. Okay? That's all it is. Now, what sucks is that makes a bad name for the people doing it right. Yeah. Shame on you for that, by the way. Peer coaching. You guys know how I feel about peer coaching. I think it's fucking awesome. But again, right? Only if it's done right. Now, we're talking about peer coaching. Recovery coaching is not the same as peer coaching. People seem to think it is, but it's not. A recovery coach is somebody that helps you with resources. It is their only job. That's why they will let you get a certificate at 30, 60, 90 days because you know how to go get your driver's license back. You know how to go. But when it comes to recovery, you're supposed to keep your mouth shut. Did you know that? You are. A recovery coach is only as good as their resources. Now, peer support. There are only a few places in Colorado that really have true peer support specialists. Okay. Now, I appreciated East Metro Detox making the change. You need 1 to 2 years of sobriety before you can go to work there now. Thank you for doing that. That does help, right? So again, if it is done correctly, then yes, another great thing to put under your belt. Now, that doesn't mean just sober living or just peer coaching or just recovery groups. It takes all of these, right? Because what is the common denominator? Well, it's community, it's connection. That is the common denominator. Okay. Now, what doesn't work? And these are hard truths. Okay. And you see them all over. I'm gonna go ahead and because it told me with a word of caution, it's like you better have a word of caution. It told me to be careful when talking about this. And you know what, Chat GPT, fuck you. I will talk how I want. Okay. I'm calling them pop-up programs because they're just showing up out of nowhere. They have no long-term data. They have no real accountability. It only revolves around one person. It lacks oversight. Okay. There's blurry financial motives, hard truths like inventory, and they avoid hard truths. And they promise quick transformation. Okay. What are the danger signs? No peer reviews, no lineage or history, no measurable outcomes. How about well, you can download my masterclass for free. Okay. No. Heavy marketing, light structure. This is better than everything else. Recovery isn't something you just invent in a weekend. Okay. It needs to have certain things. It needs to be rooted in accountability, built on principles, has a proven transformation, and not driven by ego or trend. And there's a lot of trends going on right now in recovery. Yep. And people are just saying them because they heard somebody else say it and they thought it was cool. That doesn't take any facts into account. Not a one. Not a one. So, all right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. If you need a meeting, there's one happening in 39 minutes. It is 4:21 in the afternoon. So if you'd like to hit a meeting, reach out to me. All right. Thank you for being here. Good to see you again, Isaac. It's been a minute. I love you, little man. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out. And keep on trudging.